Hey you guys, I am back with another video. I wanted to share a very interesting dream that I had on September the 22nd. Um, I really believe that this dream was very telling, um, especially when I shared the information that I received from the details that were in this dream. I was pretty much mind blown. So I did jot some notes down because I wanted to make sure I didn't forget anything. But I'm going to start out with the dream. So, like I said, I had this dream on September 22nd. In the dream, I saw a man coming out of the water. Now, the setting of the dream, it kind of looked like a beach of some sort. There were different people around, but the dream was very specific as to what it wanted me to focus on, and it had me focusing on this man coming up out of the water. And as he was coming up out of the water, he was speaking blasphemous things. Now, for whatever reason, the dream did not allow me to remember everything that he was saying, but I can assure you that in my spirit, while I was in this dream, I knew it had something pertaining to the scriptures, and it was almost as if he was making himself out to be God. Like he was very arrogant, and the things that he was saying in that moment, it was like, oh my gosh, did he really just say that? And when he said what he said, there was like a knowing in my spirit. The word revelation popped up in my spirit. And I just immediately thought of Revelations. So, like I said, I'm seeing all of this. I'm hearing Revelations. And I'm sorry. In that moment, as he's coming up out of the water, it was almost as if his name was announced, like he was being announced in the dream. And I heard his name was Dunamis. That was his name, Dunamis. And so another scene took place, and I saw women surrounding him. There were a lot of women surrounding him. And he was very charismatic, very attractive, and women were just flocking to him. And there was a lot of deception there because I could see who he was spiritually, like in the spirit, I could see who he was. But these women could only see the outside. It was like they were completely delusional, I'm sorry, of what this man represented. And there was a particular woman that stood out to me. It was almost like I was given a vision within the dream of something playing out that pertained to this particular woman. And it showed me ahead of time that she was going to get sucked in to this man's web. And when I saw that, it immediately went to another scene where I was in her presence. And I remember I pulled her to the side and I told her, that she didn't need to trust this man because he wasn't who she thought he was. And I knew that I had to kind of whisper. It was almost like I could not say what I wanted to say to her out loud. It was like kind of being subtle in what I was saying. And there was a particular man that was kind of like he was guarding this door. And I noticed that every time I would talk to her, it was like he was really trying really hard to lean in and hear what I was saying. And this happened a few times, and I just felt led to leave. And I told her we needed to leave. And so we hurry up and left. And then another scene took place to where I saw this same man that was guarding the door. He was sitting in the car with, it was like 2 or 3 people in the car with him. And it seemed like at first they all was comfortable with each other. They all knew each other. They were talking. And then next thing you know, he killed them. And that's pretty much all I remember. I don't know what that part means, but here's the part that really just, I think you guys are going to really find interesting. So I was dreaming a lot throughout this night, and periodically I was getting up and I did not feel like writing any of this down, but I kept asking the Lord, please help me remember the name dunamis. Just help me remember that word, dunamis. And the Lord allowed me to remember that. So when I actually woke up from this dream, I immediately Googled the word dunamis. Now here's what I found, you guys. The first link that I clicked on, it's by a website called gotquestions.org. And I know a lot of you probably have heard of this. When I clicked on this link, the first question that pops up is, what is the meaning of the Greek word dunamis in the Bible? And so when I saw that, I was like, whoa, I heard the word dunamis in my dream. This man's name was Dunamis, and you're telling me this word is actually in the Bible? So I was pretty intrigued. So I go on, and it says this Greek word dunamis is used 120 times in the New Testament. I was like, what are the odds of this same word that I heard in the dream is in the Bible and it's mentioned 120 times in the New Testament? So I'm like, okay. So it says this word refers to strength, power, or ability. It is the root word of our English word dynamite. So I'm still reading. It says dunamis is not just any power. It's often referred to as a miraculous power or a marvelous work. And it goes on to say, and this is another link I clicked on, and it was giving me a more detailed definition of the word dunamis found in the Strong's Concordance. And it says this word means inherent power, power residing in a thing by virtue of its nature or which a person or thing exerts and puts forth. Okay? So we got all of that. I'm just walking you down through the steps of how I was getting the information that the Lord was giving me, because he's opening this up to show me what he was showing me. Now, if you remember, I told you I saw this man coming up out of the water, right? And I also said he was speaking blasphemous things, and immediately I heard in my spirit revelations. Check this out. Revelations chapter 13 verse 1 says, let me just paraphrase. Revelations chapter 13 verse 1 speaks of a beast coming up out of the sea. That beast that is made reference of in this particular scripture, Revelations 13:1, is speaking of the Antichrist. Now, when I told you guys that the Strong's Concordance said that dunamis means inherent power, power residing in a thing by virtue of its nature or which a person or thing exerts and puts forth, it made reference to a scripture. I'm going to read that to you. That definition was paralleled with Revelations chapter 13 verse 2. And it says, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power. That's what dunamis means. It's meaning power, but it's a power that is residing in a thing by virtue of its nature or which a person or thing exerts and puts forth. It's making reference to this scripture. The dragon gave him, who is him? The Antichrist, the beast that came out of the sea, the man that came out of the sea. And the dragon gave him his power, dunamis, and his seat and great authority. It doesn't stop there. So then, another scripture that it also connected to was Revelations chapter 17. And it's found in verses 12 through 13. The same definition, the word dunamis represents power. It also says that dunamis is found in the New Testament 120 times. And it gives you scriptural reference of where the word dunamis is found in those 120 scriptures. Here's another scripture that it was linked to that I found very interesting. Again, I'm reading from Revelations chapter 17, verses 12 through 13, and it says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power," dunamis, "as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast." Remember, I told you that dunamis also means strength, power, or ability. So, with all of that being said, I believe that what was being shown to me was the Antichrist coming out of the sea, the beast that we see in Revelations 13:1. And that's why this man in the dream was speaking blasphemous things, making himself out to be God, because that's what the Antichrist is going to do. He's going to declare that he is God. And a lot of the world will worship him as God. And we know that the kingdoms of this world, the kings of this world are all going to give over their power to the beast. We already seeing it taking place now. But we're going to see where all of the kings of the world will hand over their power to this beast, which is the Antichrist. Another thing that I want to add to all of this is, if you guys remember, and I'll put a card somewhere up above here, I had a dream about the Pope. It was a dream that I uploaded regarding the Pope and Revelation 17. And here it is, I'm having another dream where Revelation 17 is being intertwined in what's being shown. Now, when you look at that definition again, it says that dunamis also represents a miraculous power. Now, we know that in the book of Revelations, it talks about how the Pope and the Antichrist will work side by side. And there will be a miraculous power that will be demonstrated some type of way to cause deception among people. People are going to be flocking to the Antichrist and to the Pope because of this power that they're going to demonstrate. It says that fire, they will be able to rain down fire from heaven or call fire from heaven. And so every word that is defined from the word dunamis, it backs up what I am seeing as it pertains to what is going to take place when the Antichrist is being revealed to the whole world. And so once again, I do believe that what is being shown is a picture of what is to come. I believe more than ever, the Lord is still warning us not to get comfortable, not to be relaxed in our walk, in our life, where we're not seeing that we are that generation that will see all of these things take place. And I do believe, even though we don't know when, we don't have a date, we don't have a time, God is showing us that this is going to play out very soon. And that we need to make sure that we're keeping our eyes open and we're keeping them on Him. Because I'm telling you, this was far from my mind when I laid down and had this dream. I had no idea the Lord was going to show me this. But it's letting me see more clearer, that we are approaching this time. Again, I don't know when all of this is going to happen. I really don't. And I'm not going to assume or make up a time frame because I don't know. But the Lord is showing this for a reason. And everything that He showed in this dream was backed up in His word. I was completely blown away. All I knew was there was a reason why His name was announced in this dream. I've never heard of anybody's name Dunamis. I don't even remember seeing the word Dunamis before in my life. And for Him to allow me to remember that word and going through this whole trail of researching this word out and finding that this word not only is found 120 times in the Bible, but it's connected with very important scripture that links to the Antichrist, that ties into exactly what I saw in the dream. That is not a coincidence. And so the Lord is speaking very loudly and very clear that we are that generation that will see these things come to pass. So I pray that, you guys take heed to this and just make sure that you continue doing the work that God has called you to do. Because we don't know when He's coming. But we need to make sure that when He do come, He finds us working. So I love you guys. Don't be discouraged. Don't feel that your warnings are going unheard. You continue to do the work until the Lord calls us home. I love you all. God bless you. Shalom.